Good evening, friends. Stephen Ben-Nun here with Israeli News Live on our Patreon channel. And I wanted to play a clip here. This is Mike from Around the World, COT. I'm actually on the Daily Excellence YouTube channel. These guys here, from what I understand, have been given permission by Mike and his administrative people there to be able to post his messages on their platform. Now, he talks about something here that I am very intimately familiar with, and I want to play this little clip here. He's talking about space and what some of the events, things that happen in space. And as I listen to this broadcast, it's really an amazing broadcast, a lot of this information when he talks about space. I'm familiar with about 70% of what he's talking about. But on this one particular subject, I wanted to play it for you guys here on Patreon because I'm also wanting to share with you events that I'm aware of. And I'm actually aware of more than one of these types of events. And this is where objects are passing through another. In this case here, he's talking about the space station that's orbiting the Earth and how they've had objects pass right through the space station uninhibited. And I'm aware of those things. I am aware of two particular events that I know of personally that this has happened. And I'm going to share with you those testimonies that I have for you. But also, if you remember, when I had Harold on, I played, actually it's not on this video, I don't think. I may have played a clip of it in here, though. He talked about the frequency, and I don't want you to be afraid of that word. He was talking about depending on the everything is in a vibration, if I should make it sound like that. And I don't want to sound new age, but there is scientific evidence that supports these things, that depending on the resonant frequency, if I understand that right, depends on the density of the way things are made up, and which would make sense. I mean, think about it. You had biblically, we have people that could walk through a wall. You have like, for example, Philip. Philip was able to go, and after he baptized the eunuch, he was able to be, something that would take probably a day's journey away, and he was suddenly there. There's all types of events that take place when the angels will come and then suddenly just disappear, or Moses and Elijah come and they speak to Jesus on Mount Transfiguration. There's all types of events that we have biblically that take place that would be, I guess, along that lines of, if we were to look at it from a scientific aspect, it would be some type of a frequency type of thing. In other words, something is vibrating at a different frequency, and that's what allows certain solid objects to pass through another solid object, right? So I want to play for you what Mike said on this one here. Let me get back to where it's at. That's our, hey, that's you guys, Patreon channel. Hang on just a second here, and listen to what Mike said right here. Listen in, please.
So we basically know space by what we have seen ourselves and through reading what other people have published, and by way of the interpretation given to us by those in space stations, those who have gone on certain spacecraft. The first trips to space were very interesting, but now there are phenomena that people are very used to because they've been explained to them what's happening, right? Most astronauts have there's a gag order to a degree in certain areas. They have code names for lots of things. A strange star, for example, that does not mean they're looking at a star. That's not what that means. That means they've had a passage of a hot object is what that means. There are other words that they use where they say, something got close to us. If they think it's alive, a biological life form, sometimes they actually use that word critter, right? Amongst themselves. If they start snapping pictures and it's pointed in a direction away from, for example, like the cameras on the ISSR, they can't quite get it with the ISS cameras. They'll do it with a personal device up in the observation platform on the ISS.
I apologize. I should have fast forward a little bit more than that. Listen, here it comes.
Shields off the windows and start looking through and take pictures. And they've taken pictures of some big things and small things and things that pass right through the ISS.
There it is. Things that pass right through the ISS.
By any
Uninhibited.
solid surface. Can you imagine that? It'd be like a car riding through your car, but you can see every aspect of the car. Then you say, well, what was that? Everybody says, well, don't worry about it. But you can't do anything about it, right? Can't do anything about it also. Anything.
All right. Now, what Mike is saying here, this is what I wanted to share with you guys. I know of 2 instances where these things have happened with believers. And one particular event happened to a good friend of mine. In fact, both the events that I'm aware of were people that I knew, very good friends. And I can't even begin to explain it, but I want to share to you one example, or one out of the 2 that I know of. I want to share with you one instance. And I feel strongly that no doubt the angels of our Heavenly Father must have been there to protect the individuals and to cause these events to happen to preserve life, because it just wasn't their time. And a very dear friend of mine, and I will not call his name, in fact I haven't seen him in many years now, was traveling with his family in a vehicle there in Northwest Florida. And we were coming up, when he told me this story, we were actually coming to the red light where this happened at. And for some reason or another, the vehicle failed. Whether they didn't catch the red light or the brakes failed or whatever the case was, they went right through the intersection. And when they did, there was just a massive stream of cars coming. One particular car, there was no way to avoid the collision. They knew, and as he said to me, he says, we were a goner. He said, there's just nothing you could do to prevent that accident from happening. And he said to me that when the car would have hit their car, he said the car literally went right through their own vehicle and out the other side. And he said to me, he said, Steve, he said, it's the honest to God's truth. He said, you could see the people in the other car as their bodies literally in their car and everything came through our car and out the other side. And he said it was almost as if, as if the cars didn't exist, but they did exist, and it literally happened. And another event, I'll go ahead and share both events with you. A friend of mine, this one, I don't know if I should share this one or not. I'll just say like this here. I tell you, I'll probably have to skip it. And there's a very, very serious reason why. There's some things that are told to you privately that you're asked not to say anything, and I apologize. But I'll just say this, it's very similar to the situation what I just shared. The only difference is on the other incident, it was more controlled. It was something that was known was going to happen. And I remember the detail of it being expressed that as they drove the vehicle, and it was in a vehicle as well, the people, I can say it that much, I believe, the people were coming through the vehicle, but yet totally unharmed. Nothing happening to them. And literally you could see those people as they were still talking to one another, and the car just passed right through them. These are things that are very hard to comprehend or to understand. But like with what Mike says, and this is one of the only reasons I decided to even share these things with you guys, because I have known many, many, many things in my life that have happened that are so extraordinary that it just totally blows your mind away. And in fact, I need to make myself a note. There's a testimony I want to share with you guys as well. And I don't know if yeah, maybe I'll go ahead and, no, I'll tell you what, I'll do it on a separate video, but I'm going to make myself a note so I don't forget about it, and maybe I can record this tomorrow or the next day there, depending on how that works out there. But anyway, I'm going to do the video about rain and hail in Jerusalem. This happened in 2000, I think it was 2004 when I lived in Israel. And I'm going to tell you, I want to share with you guys the story of what happened there. And the Palestinian cab driver, the incident that occurred with me. And so I'm making myself a note right here and to do that video there for you guys on here on Patreon. I want to just share that with you. It's a beautiful testimony. But what happened as a result is really amazing as well. So I'll share some of those type of enlightening things with you. But I wanted to put this out here. And by the way, I can't really say where I'm at right now. But I will tell you, though, I am working on a lot of information that I'm hoping to be able to share here with you. Some of the information will have to be on Israeli News Live because I think it's very sensitive. For the sake of the people. I will say this much to you guys, you'll hear it first. So here, the magnetosphere. Remember, if you remember, I had mentioned how that Harold had said to me that the German scientists believe the magnetosphere will collapse this year. And it's part of a renewing of space and things like that. That's going to be another thing that I'm going to go into as well, because Mike here does this on this video, this one right here, the Mike from COT, Understanding Space Threats, Questions and Answers. I'm going to play that clip for you in a different video where he's talking about the different events, and he's alluding to it, and I know what he's alluding to because I've been, with the work that I do, I've been made privy to that information of what's going to happen, and also from Harold, what Harold has told me about. When Harold spoke about it, Harold said that we would have a collapse of the magnetosphere, and you'd be able to view things in space that you never knew you could view before. And Mike does talk about that, but the thing that he talks about that's very serious is that Mike on his program here spoke about how that it's already starting to affect the frontal lobe of the human minds because of it thinning. And we're already being impacted from those particular events right now, and as a result of that, it's causing people to become more angry. It's causing people to make rash decisions. Just spontaneously, they react to things, whereas they're not giving things any thought, and that's concerning. And I know that they have these different things you can get to kind of make like an EMP shield to protect yourself, especially if you're in an area where there's not very much iron in your soil. And so I do want to share that information, but it needs to be on INL, regular Israeli News Live, for everybody to be able to hear. That's the type of information I don't hold back from nobody whatsoever. And even this is not held back. It just gives you guys a chance to be able to help support the work we do. And that is greatly appreciated. But when it's sensitive information, I want everyone to be aware of that. But I'm just sharing that with you now. So Mike is saying it's already beginning to happen. Harold spoke about it, and he said that you'll start with flu-like symptoms is one of the things that you'll notice, especially when it really fully collapses. And he said, but then if you're in an area that's a very sandy area, especially along shorelines and places like that, he said you could literally just scramble your brains. In fact, I am working right now. I've got meetings tomorrow, and hopefully I can get more information for you guys. I want to share with you on those issues there. It's very serious. Also on Ukraine, situation in Ukraine, the spreading of this war. I want to talk about Saudi Arabia. I know Mike talks about, I think on this video he talks about Saudi Arabia as well. And if you remember, I told you guys, about 3 months ago, there's going to be an event in the Middle East, and when it happens, it could bring about a third world war. And it has a lot to do with Iran, Saudi Arabia, etc., things like that. So just be listening in, and we're going to be sharing those things with you as quickly as I possibly can. Pray for our family. We desperately need your prayers. You guys already know the things that are going on, and we thank you. And those of you that support us here on Patreon, God bless you. Thank you very much. We greatly appreciate it. We are in a very difficult time at this point in life right now, so we do appreciate tremendously you supporting the work we do. And don't forget to IsraeliNewsLive.org, our website there. Besides people that donate here, you also have the ability to catch our videos there as well. And so a lot of times people forget that they're there. You can go in here, you can drop down the box, go back and see them. These are the ones that go through iConnectFX.com. So even more sensitive information we can share on iConnect that we can't share other places. Like in this case here, the 21st degree Mason, the executioner, that can't just be shared anywhere. I can't even put that here where we're at right now. Just kind of say it like that. So definitely, if you're looking for things like that, do. And also, there is some imagery we're going to be sharing with you, and it'll be on iConnect, because I can't share that here either. Can't even really allude to it, but I know that we have family members in Europe that have been majorly affected by what happened here in the last couple of years. And I'm going to share intimately those things there on iConnectFX.com. So subscribe. Hey, God bless you. We love you. Thank you for listening. I'm Stephen Ben-Nun with Israeli News Live.